Next one's out if you want. Mute yourself.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah. Awesome. Good morning. Thanks, guys, for being early today. I appreciate it. I'm just going to let people into the chat room and we'll get started right at 11 o'clock. Good morning. Good morning. Happy February. All right, guys. I'm going to keep letting people into the room and I'll check back in here in about 5 more minutes and we will get started at 11 o'clock. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm still letting people into the meeting, so we will begin here shortly in about 3-4 minutes. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for the second semester freshman and sophomore class meeting. This is a meeting for the 9th and 10th graders of our Lee Virtual School full-time students. So welcome. I am joined here by my good friends and colleagues, Mr. Metzner and Mr. Barnes, and there will be around to help me allow students into the meeting and also answer any questions in the chat box. So we can go ahead and begin. We'll get started. Okay, so I know that we've got a lot of new students that have just joined us for semester 2. So I just want to remind everybody again that your school of enrollment is the Lee Virtual School. Everybody that you would need to know in the office is on this slide, from our principal, Ms. McMillan, to our information specialist, school social worker. I am Maria Baker. I am the school counselor for students with the last names beginning A through L. And Mr. Barnes is the school counselor for the last part of the alphabet, students beginning with the last names M through Z. Please note that we do not receive emails from educator on your VSA dashboard. So if you need to reach us, please use our leeschools.net email address, and our phone numbers are listed below. So just like at the brick and mortar school, whether you're coming from Mariner High School or Gateway High School, you had a school counselor, you had a school social worker, you do have support. We are available, so please, if you have questions regarding scheduling, plans, scholarships, any of those things, you just need to reach out to us and let us know. Our school office hours are from 8 to 3:30. And that is everybody that you would need to know. Mr. Riley, you might be important for you, especially since we're coming into testing season. So just take note of the office staff and the folks that are here to assist you with anything that you need. Okay, so the agenda today, and we're going to talk about semester 2, just review the attendance policy again. Graduation requirements are real important, so you guys know, especially you ninth graders just starting out, what you need to complete between now and May of your graduation year. We're going to talk about academic histories or transcripts, go over the testing calendar. I'm going to remind you about the Bright Future Scholarship criteria, and we'll talk about some dual enrollment information. Okay, so for semester 2, I do believe that we have been able to go through and check everybody's schedules. If you're in 9th and 10th grade, you must have 6 classes. I believe everybody, like I said, Mr. Barnes and I have been working since the start of the semester to make sure that everybody has a full schedule. Please check your focus. You should have 6 courses there, and on your VSA dashboard, 6 courses. And regardless of what grade you're in, whether you're junior or come your senior year, guys, if you stay with Lee Virtual, please know that you will need to always carry a full load of 6 classes. For any new students that's just beginning, if you're getting off to a late start, I believe we just let some students in this past week. Make sure you're talking with your teachers. If you have not spoken with your teachers yet, please go ahead and make that contact, give them a call. If they don't answer, leave a voicemail with your phone number, and they will get back to you and help you get on track and make sure you're on pace to finish the course before the end of the semester. Please know, guys, that on your schedule, you cannot take any class that you've taken before and have received credit for. The only course that you can retake would be a class that you made a D or an F in. So that's for grade forgiveness. And if you have taken, for example, driver's ed, but you see that class on your schedule, just please reach out to us and let us know, as you are not able to receive credit for the same course. For many of you, I noticed you're on track to finish an elective or 2 before the end of the semester. Just know you don't need to pick up any more classes. So as soon as you're done with any of the courses that's on your schedule, peer counseling, maybe a driver's ed, maybe some of those lighter courses, those are off your schedule. You're done for that class. You do not need to pick up another course. The requirement is that you complete 6 credits per semester, or excuse me, 6 courses per semester. Okay, are there any questions on that, everybody? So sometimes I'll get a kid who finishes early and say, I need to take another elective, and that's not the case. So whatever classes are on your schedule, as soon as you're done with that class, you're done with that class. I did want to mention the honors courses. Some of you just know that if you're in an honors course and you're finding that it's too rigorous and too much, especially as we're getting close to the end of the semester, please just reach out to Mr. Barnes or myself, and we can easily change that for you back to regular, and vice versa. If you're in a regular course and you want to be in English honors, it's not a big deal. You are actually able to see what those honors assignments look like in your grade book. So again, if you're in high school, you want to get those honors credit for a little bit weighted GPA, it's not a big deal. It's super easy for us to change. So just reach out to us and communicate either way that that's what you like, and we can take care of that for you. Okay, so the attendance policy, there seems to be some confusion on that. Just logging into the dashboard is not going to count for you to be marked present in each of your courses. Okay, you're actually going to have to go into each class each day for about 5 to 10 minutes, and hopefully you're working consistently in order for you to not be marked absent for that class. Again, you know, once you're done with the course, obviously you're done with the course. The teacher isn't going to be looking for you to be in that class. So once you're complete, you do not need to worry about attendance any longer. But up until that point, make sure you are actually entering into each specific classroom each day in order to be marked present. Are there any questions? Alyssa, yes, if you wanted to, absolutely. We do have some students that are taking 7 courses. And if you want to do that, that's absolutely not a problem, as long as we have enough time before the end of the semester for you to be able to finish that course. Good question. Okay, so that's the attendance policy for the semester, especially for you new students. Just in case you had some confusion, just logging into your dashboard is not going to cover you. Make sure you're going into each specific class, which you should be doing each day in order to be marked present. Continue working. As soon as you're done with that course, you're done with that course. If you do want another course, Alyssa, just reach out to Mr. Barnes or myself, and we can have that discussion. Okay, you guys know this. I'm sure you see this on your PACE chart. The last day for freshmen and sophomores, in order to submit your last day to submit work to complete your courses, is Friday, May 26th at 4 p.m. I want to encourage everybody to stay on pace. If you're able to finish some courses early, state testing will be going on during that time of May. And depending on what EOC courses you have, some of you may be coming in multiple days a week. So please plan accordingly. Look at the calendar, make sure you know what days you're not going to be able to hit your math or your English or your science. And try to, if you can, definitely stay on pace minimally. But if you're able to, I would encourage you to try to finish up early so you can focus on that testing and the prep. Some of you did not finish a course in semester 1, and you've noticed that, you'll know that, either it's English or algebra or history. You know, these are courses that are required to graduate. You need those for your diploma. So for example, if you're in English 1, semester 2, and you're staying on pace, you did not stay on pace semester 1, we will be able to go back into semester 1 and open that class for you to finish that class. So you would just need to finish the assignments that you didn't complete, or the DBAs or the exams that you did not complete. And then we will go ahead and do a grade change for you. But clearly, we would want to make sure that you finished English 1, semester 2, and then we'll go back in and open up English 1, semester 1, or World History or English 2, whichever class it is. And that's how you're going to be able to recoup that credit. So when you're ready for that to happen, if you found yourself in that boat semester 1, know that that's the way that we're going to be able to go back and retrieve that credit. And then once the class is done, we'll go back in, we'll update the course with the new grade and award the credit. Page course, chemistry mechanisms on it. If I want to take one of my courses in school. Teresa, unfortunately, a hybrid schedule is not an option. So all of the courses have to be taken here with the Lead Virtual School via this format. Since COVID, we've not been able to have, I don't think that's going to be a thing anymore. Okay, so any questions anymore? I see Mr. Messner's doing a good job of answering questions in the chat, and I'm sure he'll let me know if there's a question he does not know how to answer. But guys, if you are in that situation where you did not earn all of your credits for semester one, hopefully you've learned what is working for you, what doesn't work for you, and you're able to change that up, and you've learned that staying on pace is very important. We do not offer credit retrieval. We are not an E2020 school. We're not allowed to do that. So, the best way is just to make sure that every day you're in your classes, you're working every day, and you're finishing before the end of the semester, which for your case, the last day to submit and be done with your coursework is Friday, May 26th at 4 p.m. What was the question for him? Oh, Jack, you got a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry that I was late. I forgot that this was a thing.
That's okay, kiddo. Not a problem. I'm glad you're able to join us. Listen up, and if you have any questions, just reach out. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the graduation requirements, and this is something that I do every class meeting, every semester. Once a semester, I want to make sure you guys are understanding what the requirements are. If you're opening up your schedule at the beginning of next school year and you don't see any English, a math, or a science, that is going to be a problem. You do need 4 years of English. You need 4 years of math. One must be algebra one must be geometry. You need 3 credits of science. Excuse me. One must be biology. So 3 is the minimum requirement for your high school diploma, but do know if you're shooting for state university admission or you're going for the Bright Future Scholarship, I would recommend you take that for science. You will need 3 years of social science. So in the 10th grade, you'll be taking world history. In the 11th grade, you'll be taking your US history. Those are full year courses. And then in your senior year, you'll have a semester of US government and a semester of econ. You have to have those 3 credits on your transcript in order to get your high school diploma. Along with that, we need 1 credit of a performing practical art, a credit of hope, and of course the online requirement. All of you are going to have that requirement met, and then of course elective credits to get you to the 24. The state assessments will be the 10th grade FAST, the reading test, and the Algebra 1 EOC, and we're going to go over those testing dates here coming up. Okay, so typically when we do our class meetings, when you register, I would shoot you a copy of your academic history, and your academic history looks like this. We were under the impression that we were going to be able, you guys were going to have the ability to actually print your own academic history from Focus, but unfortunately that is not up and running yet. So I was not prepared. I did not shoot you your academic history, which will tell you all the courses you've taken, the grades that you've earned, the credits earned. Up in the right-hand side, you'll see the EOC tests. So every test that you'll take will be populated there: algebra, biology, geometry, history. When you meet that requirement, you will see the Y if you passed in that column. So you'll see this youngster here did take and pass the biology EOC. The student is still needing the Algebra 1 EOC, and of course the 10th grade ELA.
Ms. Baker?
Yes?
No, I had a great question, and I just wanted to address it because it was easier than typing.
Sure.
Noah was asking about history, which does, and science, which just does make a lot of sense. 4 years of high school, and you're in science and history for 3 years. World history is reserved for the sophomore year for a lot of reasons, and taking it out of order can cause a lot of issues with your transcripts and graduating and moving in different places. So I appreciate your ambition to get that out of the way, but it usually is easier to remain within the prescribed progression plan that they have, unless you're planning to graduate early or you have some kind of other plans than a traditional graduation. So thank you, Noah. But normally world history is sophomore year, US history is junior year, and then senior year is American government economics.
We do have a lot of students that were with us last year, and many of you in the 9th grade did take your world history. So clearly, if you're in the 10th grade now and you already have that world history class or that credit, that's why you don't have the social studies this school year. You will have US history in your junior year. So you freshmen that are rising in the 10th grade, whether you're taking, you're a Lee Virtual School student or you're a Mariner High School student, you will take world history in the 10th grade. So if you are wanting a copy of your academic history, that's not a problem at all. We'll share that with you at any time you request it. But shoot myself, if you're in my part of the alphabet, just shoot me an email, Mr. Barnes, if you're a Mr. Barnes student. In the subject line, just put academic history. And between now and the end of next week, we'll be sure and shoot that to you through the email that you requested it. And take a look at it and hold on to it. It will not be updated again until the end of this semester. So you can keep track of your progress from semester to semester, your grade point average, the credits required, the credits still needed, etc. So again, I apologize, you don't have that in your hands right now to look at for us to go over, but if you would like one, it is not a problem. Just email myself or Mr. Barnes with academic history in the subject line, and we will go ahead and shoot that to you. And you guys get back to us at any time regarding any questions that you have. Okay, so foreign language is not a graduation requirement. I get that question quite a bit. However, if you are planning on applying to FGCU, for example, or any of the state universities, they do require 2 years of the same foreign language. If you are proficient in a language and you take Spanish 2, that will equal your 2 years of the foreign language. We will go ahead and give you a waiver. Clearly, you know the material for semester, or excuse me, for Spanish 1. So again, foreign language is not required to receive your high school diploma. However, it is a requirement for the state university system, University South Florida, FGCU, Florida State, etc., and also for the Bright Future Scholarship. Community service hours, we've got a lot of kids coming from out of state, from other districts where service hours are a requirement for your diploma. Know that it is not a requirement for your high school diploma. However, it is a requirement, either service hours or work hours for the Bright Futures Scholarship, and we'll get into that in just a minute. 9th graders, you will be taking the FAST ELA test coming up here in May. The score that you will need to be considered on level is a 343. When you come in, if for some reason you score below that 343, you will be in an intensive reading class, no, in your 10th grade year. So if you see that on your schedule, that is why. And then the 10th grade, the fast reading score would be a 350 for you when you come in and take that test in May. The 10th grade ELA is the test that you must pass in order to get your diploma. And once you get to your junior, senior year, if for some reason you haven't been able to pass that test, we can start hitting the SAT and or the ACT and the PSAT for the algebra requirement. So we can talk more about that as we get up there, but just know that the 10th grade FAST ELA is a requirement for you to receive your diploma. The Algebra 1 EOC, that is the math requirement for you in order to receive your diploma. So here for the algebra, we are able to use the concordance score on the PSAT. For any freshman or sophomore, know that that test is always given in October. It's free for sophomores. So if you are a 9th grader this year and you missed the EOC by a couple points and you want to come in and sit for that PSAT, it's a good practice for the SAT. It'll give you a baseline, but you can also get the concordance score for your algebra EOC. So the FSA reading and the algebra EOC, along with those 24 credits, are required. You must get those scores. Otherwise, you don't receive a high school diploma. You get what's called a certificate of completion, and nobody here at Lee Virtual gets their certificate. So just know that it is a must. So there's no opting out. There's no not coming to take it. If you are required, it is an expectation you will be here for these state tests. And speaking of which, if you have already taken Algebra 1 and did not get the score that you need, we will be offering an Algebra 1 retake. Again, this is only for students that have already taken the EOC and did not get a passing score. It will be Monday, February 27th and Tuesday, February 28th. It is a 2-day test. It will begin at 9 o'clock. Also know if you're in the 10th grade and you took algebra last year, you're kind of nervous. I haven't seen it in a while. When you take the geometry EOC in May and you pass that geometry EOC, that will also waive the algebra EOC for you. So if you want to put all your eggs into geometry and really focus on that class and come in May and take that test and pass it, then you would not need to worry about the algebra EOC. Okay, questions on that? There is no Algebra 2 EOC. Good question. For math, there will only be the Algebra 1 and the geometry. There used to be an Algebra 2 EOC years ago, but not any longer, thankfully. Okay, so guys, this is on our school website, and this is going to be really important. I'm giving you these dates way ahead of time. The testing is still a requirement. Fortunately, you'll notice the grade 9 and grade 10 FSA is now a 1-day test, where in the past it was always a 3-day test. So that's a huge improvement. If you are in biology and algebra, which many of you are, or geometry, please make sure and mark your calendar for these testing dates coming up toward the end of May. It is a requirement. If in order for you to receive that credit, you have to sit for those EOCs in May. Otherwise, you will not receive credit for those courses. So it is an expectation you come into this building at the north entrance. This is where Lee Virtual School students test. So please make sure that you have arrived and that you're ready to show up on these testing days. Any questions on that? You do not need the geometry EOC for Bright Futures. We'll go over that requirement here in just a minute. That's a good question. Definitely the algebra EOC. If you pass the geometry EOC, that would be great. But so the Bright Future Scholarship, guys, just know that this is a scholarship the state of Florida offers to our brightest kids. It is based on how you perform. It's not based on any financial need. It's totally merit-based. You will apply for this scholarship in your senior year after October. Only one time do you need to apply for this scholarship. There's for our purposes, really 2 scholarships underneath that umbrella. We've got the Florida Academic Scholarship, which is the top scholarship. So if you can meet a 3.5 GPA in your core classes, not your overall GPA. So they're not looking at your peer counselings or your driver's ed or your HOPE classes. They're looking at your Englishes, your maths, your foreign languages, and those courses. If you can earn a 3.5, which many of our students do, 100 service or work hours, which you can begin now. And then the test scores you'll see we have there for the ACT, it is a 29 composite, and for the SAT, it's a combined score of a 1330. So if you have those 3 requirements and you choose to stay in state and attend a public school, 100% of your tuition will be covered. It's a great chunk of money there. It definitely adds up. It will follow you from semester to semester. So in order to prepare, taking the PSAT, keeping up that GPA, logging your hours that you're accumulating either through community service or work. It can't be a combination of both. You'll get that scholarship after you graduate from high school. Then there's a Florida Medallion Scholarship. And those requirements are just a little bit less. It's a 3.0 core GPA. The test score you'll see goes from a 29 composite on the ACT to a 25. And then on the SAT, it's a combined score of a 1210. And the hours requirement goes down from 100 to 75. Now, if you get the Florida Merit Scholarship and you attend, let's say, for example, Florida Gulf Coast University, that will cover about 75% of that tuition. However, if you get the Florida Merit Scholarship and you attend a state college like Florida Southwestern, for example, that will cover 100% of your tuition at the state college. So these scholarships are really good opportunities. It's something for you guys to keep in the back of your mind and work towards. So make sure you're taking those foreign languages, make sure you're keeping that GPA up, and take every opportunity to test SAT, ACT, just so you have the time to be able to get the test scores. I have a lot of students that will get the GPA and the service hours or the work hours, but the test scores can be a kicker. So those will take some time and plan accordingly. The world language, yes, you would need 2 years of a foreign or world language, and that will definitely count in your overall GPA, but also in your core GPA for Bright Futures. So there are some community service, or now that this is just changed for this school year, they're not only requiring the saying it needs to be community service hours work done for free, but they are allowing students who have a job to log their work hours. So it would be 100 hours of working or 100 hours of community service. Here are some possible volunteer opportunities that I've just kind of accumulated through the year. The Bright Futures volunteer, the document for you to submit is on the school website. And if you need it, just shoot us an email. We can also send it to you. So here are some possible opportunities if you were looking for some nonprofit organizations to go and do some time. I was asked to share this information in North Fort Myers. If you are out in that area, they are looking for volunteers for the summer. They have a summer reading program that they're doing and they need some help. So if you want to take a picture, take a snap of this, it has the website for you to go to apply. Again, this is a summer reading program at the North Fort Myers Library. So just sharing this opportunity with you. Okay, so SAT and ACT, guys know that they give testing beginning in August. There are dates all the way from August through July. Every school year they will post the test dates that they're going to offer on Saturday. You would go to the website, create an account, and request to, for example, if you're a sophomore and you wanted to sit for that March 11th test date on that Saturday, you would need to register, have that application or that registration submitted, and the fee paid by February 10th. There will be a June and a July, I want to say, SAT, and you can find those dates at the website. If you are in need of a waiver, things are financially tight, I know for many of us. Just reach out to Mr. Barnes and I. We do typically kind of reserve those for juniors and seniors, but if we've got some available and you're interested, let us know. So the SAT, that is through the College Board, and there are multiple test dates throughout the school year. These are ones that are left coming up for the rest of this year. And then we have the ACT. Same deal with the ACT. You go to the website, you create your account, you register for the test that you want to take by that registration deadline, pay your fee, upload your photo, print that ticket, and report to the school that you registered for to take that test. So when you go, for example, to look at April, it will tell you all the high schools in the county that will be offering that test on that Saturday. We do not offer the SAT or ACT here on Saturdays. So you would need to pick the closest, most convenient high school for you. So there are fees for the SAT and the ACT. These are college placement tests. Either one, colleges and Bright Future scholarships will take either test score. So when you take them multiple times, they'll mix and match and take the highest of your scores. So do know, and you'll see ACT, there's a June, there's a July test date. SAT has a June and an August test date before school even begins. So just know that those are out there. Each year, we post those testing calendar dates on our school website and have them handy for you. Okay, so I'm going to talk just a little bit about dual enrollment and what is dual enrollment, especially for you incoming ninth graders. I know I've got a handful of 10th graders that are already taking advantage of it. So dual enrollment is when you can take college classes for free and earn college credit. And it's also earning credit towards your graduation requirements. So if you go out to FSW, for example, you're a sophomore this year, and we sign you up for Composition 1 or college English at the college, you will earn English 3 credit by taking that college class. So it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So it's a really wonderful opportunity for you academically advanced students. And we do have a lot of you here at the Lee Virtual School. We have different options. Most of our students will dual enroll at FSW, the state college, because they do offer most of their courses via the online format, which many of you like and are here for a reason. We have a handful of students that are at the university, at Florida Gulf Coast University. And that program is a little bit different because they do want you on campus. They don't offer online courses, so you would actually physically have to go out to the campus in order to take your courses. Fort Myers and the Cape Coral Technical Colleges offer many programs that are available to high school students. Not all of their programs are available. So just depending on what you might be interested in, welding, mechanics, those are available. Cosmetology is not, but we can talk about what is available and send you out on a visit if you're interested. But we would need to plan this beginning now to have you ready to go out there, because it is a full-time program. You would be in person every day at one of those schools. And then we just got a brand new school that we got a dual enrollment class we're offering through Kaiser University. And I'll talk about that a little bit in another slide. You do have to meet GPA and test score requirements, so it's definitely not for every kid, but it is an option. So if you're interested, we can talk about that. So Florida Gulf Coast, you guys, this is for any sophomores, rising juniors. If you are currently a sophomore and you think you are ready and or willing to attend FGCU as a junior, they do have an early admissions program. You can also, I've had students in their junior year attend FSW and then apply and get accepted into FGCU for their senior year. And those credits will transfer. So if you're a rising junior, if you're going to be a junior next year, you're not really sure that that's going to work for you. Even if you wanted to apply, I mean, you could apply and just say, no, thank you. That might be a better bet for any of you students that think Florida Gulf Coast is where you want to end up. They do have a really good early admission program. You would need to take an SAT or ACT because it is a state university. So again, if you look at those test dates, that February ACT would be the last test date you could sit for the ACT, and then the March SAT. The application is due March 31st. So you would submit all the application and the supplemental material. And when you register to take the SAT or ACT, you just make sure and put down FGCU and go ahead and throw an FSW on there for those schools to receive those test scores. Okay, so this might be a little bit too early for you, but know as a sophomore, if you're one of those really advanced kids and you're moving along and you're interested, they do have information sections. Just go to that website and it'll give you the dates for you and a parent to attend and listen to the program. Correct. The SAT would be for any college. ACT, SAT. So if you wanted to start sending those scores, if you know Florida State's where you want to be, shoot those test scores. Don't be shy. Let them get all of them, because then they can mix and match and take the highest scores from the tests that you've taken. Okay, so FSW, the state college, we've got a ton of kids that take courses out there. I do have a handful of sophomores that are have begun their college transcript registration. There will be a summer session. If you are interested, we got to get you started applying and taking the AccuPlacer now. Summer and fall term. So for any of you guys that are currently enrolled, know that in March, for the end of March, is when we will go in and choose your courses and register you for your fall classes. You have to apply. That's step number one. And then step number two would take the AccuPlacer, which is a college placement test given at FSW. You can also request to test remotely if you would like. That test is untimed, it's free, and you get your score results back right then at the end of the test. So there is an orientation, an online orientation that you do have to complete before we can register you for FSW. Kaiser, that's a one semester course that we're offering now, and that will come around your junior, senior year. So we can kind of skip past that. You'll be invited to join that classroom should you meet the requirements. And then, of course, like I mentioned, there is opportunities for you to enroll in a program, because college is not for everybody. It doesn't need to be. You can make just as good of money being a plumber, a welder, an electrician. So do know that there are some really wonderful opportunities that our tech colleges offer as well. They've got their websites if you want to check them out and look at the dual enrollment programs. Of course, I'm available to discuss as well. So I'm going to try something new this semester. Typically, I'll have a dual enrollment info session one time for parents and kids to jump in and hear all about the pros and the cons and things. But I'm going to try and hold a weekly open meeting. So it'll begin tomorrow at 11 o'clock every Thursday between now and spring break. And that's pretty much when the registration opens for summer and fall term. I'm going to hold an open Zoom meeting. And if you want to come in, I'm going to try it this way. Meet with me. We can discuss the pros, the cons, the process, start talking about a plan now. In order for you to test, if you need to retest, that'll give us enough time. But know that every Thursday from here until spring break, from 11 to 12, I will have an open Zoom to answer questions, to help you along in the process, to get updates and things like that. So the first one will be tomorrow at 11. Mr. Metzner, I don't know if you can put that link in the chat box or if I can access that. I'm also going to ask the English teachers to hopefully put this Zoom link on their announcement page for you. So if you want to jump in, if you can't tomorrow, but can next Thursday, that would be great. So 9th and 10th grade, don't be shy, jump in. Let's start those conversations now. There's nothing that bothers me more than a kid that emails me the week that semester begins and says, can I dual enroll? Because the answer is going to be no. This is something that takes time. We got to plan and talk about, apply, test, etc. Okay, so questions. What did I miss? What did I forget? Jack, what's your question?
So say we're gonna apply for an art college. What are art colleges looking for, like, to enroll someone?
You know, that's a really good question. And I would say,
like a photo or something, like what?
well, it just depends. You would really need to check with that school and look at their admissions page. They might request a portfolio. They want to see some of your artwork, depending on what concentration you want to go into.
Oh, well, usually when I paint, well, ever since, like, recently I've been painting in VR. Like, do they accept that kind of stuff?
I don't really know, honey. You're gonna have to check with those schools specifically to see what it is that they're looking for. And also, what are the degrees and which degree would you be pursuing? And
Mhm.
then they can tell you more of what they want to see from you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Can I share my screen?
of course. I made you a co-host. You should be able to, yes?
So, Ms. Baker and I have been in the district for a long time, guys, and we have, really used to use this website, and I still tell students this is one of the most amazing websites that you could possibly
use. And this is the Florida Shines website. So all of these, the questions that you guys are asking about colleges and what they expect and all of that, and what do you need for all of that, like here it is. There's 3 basic sections. The first one is going to college. This is where you can explore institutions or programs, find out how to pay for college, find out different options on how to pay for college, plan for it, check for different careers and so forth, how to succeed in college. Again, this is, again, trying to tell you how to do better and so forth like that. And then how to find a career. So they've got all kinds of things that you can do in here, such as taking an interest inventory and going in to see, you know, what careers would be best for you, searching different courses, all kinds of things like this. They say that if you spend a half an hour on this site every single night from the time you enter 9th grade to the time you're a senior, you will never get all the information that is in here. There's that much stuff in here. So like, for example, going to your career, you can look at, you're a high school student, I want to get ready, I want to see what's going on, find my interest inventories and so forth. You can look at, you know, how to go to the college section. I can look in here to look at a whole bunch of stuff right here about how to plan, how to see where I'm going on my plan. Do I want to do online? Can I do transferring schools? Can I take courses to other schools? Like all kinds of stuff that you can do once you're in college. And then how do you get to college? Navigating the application process, exploring, all kinds of things like that. So this is an awesome, awesome, awesome website for all of you guys, and especially you rising sophomores who are about to enter into your junior year next year. If you're going to an institution, now is the time for you to begin to start looking at those things, because in your senior year, your applications are actually going to hit very, very quickly. In the senior, in most cases, in the senior year, most colleges want their applications due by November 1st in the state of Florida during your senior year. Obviously, there were some delays because of hurricanes and so forth this year, but most colleges will want you to have your applications started and start applying in your senior year by about November 1st. So now is the time to go on and start looking in here. And as Ms. Baker said, college isn't the only option. Post-secondary education of all different types. There's lots of different things that you can do on this website to try to find your success. So. Jack, Tristan, did you guys have a question?
Oh, I forgot to lower my hand.
Oh, okay. Tristan, do you have a question?
Yeah. What's the difference from a SAT test and an ACT test?
Gotcha. So SAT stands for SAT, and that is the Scholastic Aptitude Test. And ACT stands for the American College Test. Those are 2 national tests that will test you, and colleges will use them for your admission to get into college. So those are 2 tests that you should be taking to get into college. And you would normally take those during your junior year. In fact, the curriculum aligns with your junior year. So that's when you would start planning to start taking those in August, as Ms. Baker was saying. So those 2 tests are 2 national tests to try to get you into college. Great question. Kaylee?
If I took Spanish 1 in 9th grade and I'm in 10th grade, and so next year I'm going to be in 11th. If I take Spanish 2 in 11th grade, does that still count for 2 years?
Yes.
Okay, because in my old high school it was like different. So
It has to be 2 consecutive years of the same foreign language. And as long as you
Okay.
have Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, it doesn't matter if you take it a year apart, as long as you complete Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. The only
Okay.
rule is it has to be 2 consecutive years of the same foreign language.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Great questions, guys. Any other questions out there? I'm not seeing if you got your hand raised, just go ahead and unmute. I did see a question about how you would know your EOC scores, guys. When you get your academic histories up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll be able to see what your score was on each of the EOC tests that you've taken. So again, just as a reminder, if you are interested and would like to see your academic history, look at the credits earned, your GPA so far. Up in the top right-hand corner, you'll see those EOC tests, and then just below that will be any PSAT, SAT, or ACT. Once you start sitting for those tests, that will start populating down there. So you got all the information right here in one location. So keep that in mind.
Melinda and Sophia, you have a great question. Yes, you should be in there 5 minutes a day for attendance to count. And if you're in there for more, then yes, that is also good because you are doing what you need to do. But checking in with each class each day as part of the attendance, it would be the same as if you were in a brick and mortar. So Ms. Baker, thank you. That's an awesome statement. And by the way, when you get those academic histories, if you receive them, guys, if you request them, when you're looking at them, look and see if the column on the far left-hand side says met. And then under assessment, it'll tell you which one you did. So a lot of times students will get a concordant score in ACT or SAT or something like that. If you do, it shows up there. If it's the FSA, you'll see the score and the level. So it's all recorded right there, but it also shows up if it's an SAT concordant score, it'll go up there as well.
Okay, guys, great questions.
Bryce? It all depends on the technical school that you're going to. Normally, they have their own tests that are associated with the programs that you're going into, such as the TABE test and so forth. But most of the time, you do not need an SAT or ACT for a technical school or technical college, but it really refers to whatever college you're going to. They usually have their own tests associated with those.
I can speak from one of my juniors that's attending next year. He did sit and take the ACT and scored well enough on that ACT that the test that they use at the tech school was not necessary. So there would be a testing requirement. It doesn't necessarily need to be the SAT or ACT. It could be, it's called the Wonderlic that they're giving now, but you would need a test score. And you do have to have the FSA before they would allow you to dual enroll at the tech school.
Sarah, the only reason you would not need to take the EOC is if you completed the geometry course somewhere besides Florida. If that's the case, then no, you don't need to sit for it. If you took the geometry EOC in anywhere in Florida, then yes, you have to sit for it.
And Casey, for 9th grade, in order to dual enroll, you have to have 5 classes, core classes, and a GPA. They want to make sure that you're academically ready. And so typically, at least 2 years in high school would be wise before you start really hitting those college academic courses. So for the sophomores that I do have in there, they're doing like the study skills class, the cornerstone class, which is teaching them how to be an FSW student. I'm not a real big proponent on freshmen or sophomores starting their college career, only because that college transcript will follow you all the way through graduate school potentially. So at the open Zoom meetings that I have, we can discuss all of that, the pros and cons. As a sophomore, if you want to apply and take a study skills and start getting your feet wet, I'm okay with that. Freshmen, it's kind of difficult because they do have the requirement that you need 5 core classes. in order to make that 3.5 GPA that's necessary for you to enroll.
Haley, you bring up an awesome question, and I'm glad that you brought that up to clarify. As Ms. Baker was talking before, all students enrolled in Florida Virtual School full-time are taking 6 courses, and they are 6 LVS courses. If you have 7 courses, and I can see on here that you're taking 1 through FLVS, that's an additional elective course that you're taking, but you still have 6 through LVS. So every student has to have 6 through LVS. There are electives we don't offer, and if you want to take those courses, you're welcome to take them through FLVS, through the Flex program, but those come in addition to the 6 classes that you are enrolled in with LVS.
Yeah, Jonah, you could choose to not do the algebra EOC and just really focus on learning that geometry and taking and passing that geometry EOC in May, and then you wouldn't need to worry about the algebra EOC. So either test will work for you. And if coming in for testing for that algebra is too much, just really focus in on that geometry and pass that geometry test, and then you won't need to worry about the algebra EOC. Okay, guys, well, if you got no questions, then I'll stick around for anybody that wants to talk some more. But if you have no questions, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. If you want an academic history, reach out to us and work hard, stay on pace. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.
LaRon, email me and I will shoot you that link for tomorrow. Absolutely. Just shoot me an email to my Lee School's email. What did you say, Mr. Smith? Jasper, what's your question, kiddo?
This is a bit specific, but so I'm currently taking a few classes early, and I took some early during middle school, and I'm in my freshman year taking Algebra 2 now because I finished Geometry 1 during the last segment. The issue with this is that I already am doing Spanish 2 and a few other courses, and I don't really have time to both study for the Geometry EOC and also keep up the work with Algebra 2, and I was wondering if it would be possible to just replace it with another elective, because I'm going to have to complete the course during summer.
To replace what course, Jasper? I'm sorry.
Algebra 2. I'm
Algebra 2.
taking it early, and yeah.
And you're in the 9th grade.
I'm in 9th grade. I'm only in the first segment. I completed the second segment of geometry early.
Got you. Yeah. So you would just like to rather do Algebra 2 in the fall and start in the beginning in your sophomore year?
Preferably.
Yeah.
I will actually look into this, Jasper. You're one of my students, and I will look into, because you actually look like you may be overloaded with some courses, so that might not be a bad idea to drop you back if you think you're not going to be as successful in that course. But I have to talk it over with our assistant principals of curriculum. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Barnes, that shouldn't be a problem
Yeah.
at all for him to.
I'm thinking so too, because it looks like he's overloaded and he's got an extra elective, so we
Yeah,
can do it.
he can drop that and pick that up in the fall for sure.
But I do actually have plans this summer, and I would prefer to have something just temporarily there that I can.
Something easier and lighter and focused. Yeah, we got you, kiddo. You do need that geometry EOC. You're ahead of the game, so you can just start fresh in your fall of your sophomore year with Algebra 2 straight. Mr. Barnes, I know that to be true. So if you want to.
I've already taken care of it.
Awesome.
Working on updating it now.
All right, Jasper, anything else we can do for you?
That's all. Thanks.
Okay, good job. Keep up the good work.
I'll try, but it's hard.
All right, Dominic, Bryce, I know we've been talking, Bryce, your mom and I. Any questions I can answer for you while I got you guys? Oh. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.